My next question has to deal with federalism. Federalism is the relationship between the national governments, the state government, and the localities. How do you interact with, how well do you interact with the federal government, and what's the process of interacting with county and city? And Sal, Peter, if you could talk on how, as a state legislator, you interact with folks, and Sal, if you could discuss, as a city councilor, how you interacted with county and state and federal.
You know, I bet Sal would say something along the same lines. It's really a mixed bag. You can have a process, I'll give a very positive process. There's this project here in the Rogue Valley called the WISE Project. It's water for industry, streams, and the environment, I think it is, or in the economy. And it's a project that had people on the city level, the county level, the state level, and the federal level all working together for like 9 months to try to come up what basically is the plan for water use going forward in the Rogue Valley. Really positive process, and we ended up with something everybody's on the same page on, and we have, I think, a solid plan for determining how water is going to be used in the valley going forward for agriculture, but also for our communities as well. But it can also be a tremendously negative process. It can and this is at all levels. Nobody's faultless on this. You can have a process too where the feds, the federal government, will start setting up certain just benchmarks you're supposed to meet in a particular program. This happens in the budget all the time, and then 6 months into a year, they'll change the benchmarks, and you're just totally caught flat-footed. You've basically made a decision to invest millions of dollars in one direction, and the federal government will say, change their mind. Or someone interpreted someone on the rules discussion that Sal was mentioning earlier, someone on the federal level will say, well, Congress passed this, and so you move forward believing that was what the law was going to be, but we actually interpreted this to go this way when we put it into motion. And so you can be totally blindsided. But you can be blindsided at any level of government. I'm sure as a city council member, Sal was blindsided by county and state and federal. As a state representative, I feel like I've been blindsided by the federal government. And I'm sure I have blindsided local governments as well. And we talked about the medical marijuana dispensary issue, whereas we're saying that what we thought was a process, there already were about 200 dispensaries operating in the state of Oregon in a gray area. They were operating illegally. Our thought was, let's get these things regulated, make sure they're safe. That was how we came down to it. On the local level, they come out in a totally different way. They're saying, wait, we don't want this in our community. It might not be here or not. So I'm sure there's a certain amount of blindsided, felt that happened on that issue as well. So it happens at different levels. On the best part of the process, it's inclusive. People actually listen and they respect the different levels. On the worst part of the process, you get blindsided.
Yeah, it's like you said, a mixed bag. I have offered the city and the county to have a phone conversation with them once a week or so, and so far that hasn't come to fruition, even though the offer's been out there. The city used to do it until such time that none of the council members showed up, it was just the city manager. And I thought, I don't need to be wasting my lunch hour listening to the city manager in Medford, so that went by the wayside. As for the federal government, it's a mystery sometimes. I'm not sure that they're clear with what some of the things they do. I have good rapport with a lot of the Congress people. A couple of them we've served with. One of them I know very well. I served in the Senate with Schrader, and I served in the House with Bonamici. So there's a couple people that we do know, and of course I know Greg Walden quite well. But it's a different game in the federal system than it is in the state system. I prefer the state, and I don't think I would particularly care for the federal system because, we work together. I'm not seeing that in the federal level. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. You have one side that's dug in, the other side's dug in, and you actually get absolutely nothing done. So I hope that they break the logjam and somebody extends across the aisle and said, hey, we need to get something done for the American people instead of our party. And that's both sides. I feel both sides are as equally guilty, and both sides should be ashamed of what they're doing. But that's just my opinion.